If you want to learn how to make one of these snare drums yourself, keep watching this video. So a lot of people are trying to figure out what exactly these are. They think it's a drum pad or whatever the case is, but this is in fact a snare drum. Or I should say, it comes off of a marching snare drum. You'll see exactly what I mean later in the video. So how to create one of these, all you pretty much need is a marching snare drum that has a double rim just like this. It's pretty much any marching snare drum brand out there that makes marching drums have one of these snare drums, all right? And I'm gonna show you how you can build your very own based off a marching snare drum. And I believe you can use any snare drum that has a double rim like this. So without further ado, let's get this shit. First, you're going to need a marching snare drum. It can be from any brand out there that makes marching drums that has a double rim, just like this drum. Next, you're going to need a marching drum key, one of these big giant keys, because you're going to have to take the drum head off. Using a regular drum key, like the small one, is not going to cut it. So the next thing you're going to do is take the snare drum head off as we go into a little time lapse here. Once you finish the unbolting process and you actually take the drum head off, you should have the top rim, all right, the top rim of it. So the next tool you're going to need is a wrench vector or an open wrench, open end wrench, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. Once you have that, you're going to start unscrewing the rods off of the snare drum, the little thing that hooks the top and the bottom part of the snare drum together. Alright, so you should have the rod in your hand just like this, just like how I have it right now. You're good, great, perfect. So the next tool you're going to need is a vice grip, or if you want to call it pliers, I don't care. Just get the tool because you're going to need it for leverage to take apart the bolt. Alright, you're going to need the bolt that's on the rod. I recommend that you get a socket wrench because it's going to make life a lot easier to unbolt the bolts off of the rod. So once you got the bolt, you're going to screw it onto the bottom of the snare drum head that you're going to use, the bottom part of the snare drum rim, I should say. So you're pretty much going to repeat the same cycle until you get the bolts off of all of the rods, so you can put them onto the bottom part of the double rim that you're going to use for your snare drum. And then go ahead and get your socket wrench and make sure it's nice and tight. And it should basically look like this when you're finished. All right, good. So go ahead and get the top part of your rim as you're gonna put it on top of the bottom part of your rim, and make sure your drum head is in between the two, just like you would put it on a regular marching snare drum. And now you're gonna get your drum key and put the screws on it and pretty much tighten it just like you would tighten a regular snare drum and tune it to your likings. So you should be able to tighten it like you would tighten a regular marching snare drum because it is still technically a high tension drum. All right, so go ahead and do that. And that's pretty much how you put it together.